Hola everyone. I hope you had your solar flare coffee and hope you're having a happy solar flare day. And just want to do a quick update on our presentations for the people that have been keeping score and keeping track of anything we've been saying for the last 2 months. We were talking about these dates that were coming up that were really important. And the last presentation for the last month and a half, I've been kind of harping about this May 16th date that was coming up and how important it was. If you go back to the presentation, I even mentioned that before the 16th even occurs, that there was a prediction that there might be incoming objects coming in, and then 2 days after that, that there should be a coronal hole that should be coming around the corner of the sun that would be pointing directly at us. This is May 13th. Oh, wait, this is 2024. But anyway, this is an example of the coronal hole that I was talking about. This coronal hole was originally on the other side of the sun. And what I was talking about is that when the coronal hole comes around and it's hitting like on a certain date, like say out here on the 13th, it just doesn't hit on the 13th and it's over by the 14th. No, it takes 13 days for this eyeball to go all the way around the face of the sun toward us. And then it takes 14 days to go all around the other side of the sun, where it comes back again to do another 13 days. So there's a 13-day window that a coronal hole can come around the sun and point directly at us and then blast us a good one. So this is just to show you an example of what we were talking about. This is 2024. Just to let you know what I was explaining about how the coronal hole works with the 13 days. Now we're gonna go to May 16th, 2026. That is our prediction date on the presentation we've been doing for the last 2 months on our YouTube clips. May 16th, 2026. I've been bugging everybody about because I said there were going to be two objects coming in, and also 2 days after that there was going to be a coronal hole that's going to be facing toward the earth, and that we're going to get blasted on the 16th by this coronal hole. And look what happened on May 16th. Over the last 9 hours is the only time they detected it and found it 9 hours ago. It was a blast from the sun, like I said, and from the coronal hole, and it hit the base of the earth, and it's causing a G2, a magnetic storm, which could interfere with the energy grid a little bit. And it's also hitting pretty high out here on the levels of the solar levels of where it's hitting. And then what are solar storms? And it's talking about disturbances caused, by the description here. But the solar storm that we're predicting for May 16th, and the objects that are coming in, which are the asteroids, and there should be one more coming in, by the way. It's not done yet. There should be one more near Earth object still out there. It was coming from the sun, so they couldn't detect it. I'm over here talking for NASA because they can't see it because it's coming from the sun. But there's one more object that's coming from the sun, so we can't see it, and it's coming in directly. So there's one more object still coming in. The other ones already came by already and came and went. But there's our May 16th, 2026. We're vindicated. We're validated.
The prediction that you made in the last
2 months or month or a month and a half ago. I can't remember. It's been a while. And this is to show you that the predictions we were making a month or a month and a half ago sure beats the last 9 hours that NOAA and NASA is giving you. They only found this storm coming in 9 hours ago before it hit the face of the earth. We were telling you about the storm a month and a half ago and harping on it ever since. And now these guys over here, and get all the credit because, it came in 9 hours ago.
So today is 2 Lizard, and yesterday was one house.
One house was the midsection between one house that happened in 2012. You add 13 to that, it takes you to the one house on the day we're sitting at yesterday. And then you add 13 years from that one house to the next cycle that's coming up. And then it's coming up to a year called One Reed. And what happens in One Reed? Solar Maximus. It's going to be the biggest solar storm to hit the face of the earth. Because not only is it one solar storm, it's a 351-year solar storm that's combined with a 540-year solar storm coming together at the same time every 14,040 years. And when it hits whoever is coming down on, they tend to disappear. And those 14,040 years, you go back, it takes you back to the Clovis people, and that was in 12,001 BC. You go back to 21,000 BC, it takes you to the Denisovans, who were taken out at that 14,040 year cycle. 14,040 years to that, it takes you down to 41,000 BC, which is when the Neanderthals were taken out. I mean, it's explanatory. I mean, the numbers don't lie, the math all lays out. It's just when those two massive solar storms come together on that one same year, every 14,040 years is when the big one hits. Separately, we can survive one. Separately, we could survive the other. But when they're layered on that one particular year, it's, well, I can show you. Then I'll end the presentation. This is the chart that the ancients did, and I don't think people understand it at all. This right here is the 27 year for each one of those dots, and every one is 351 years. That cycle I was talking about for the 351 year cycle. When it completes itself here, if you'll notice, there's a bird here. There's a bird here. There's a bird there. There's a bird there. But where this calendar ends down here, if you'll notice, there's a bird. He's alive. There's a bird. He's alive. There's a bird. He's alive. There's a bird. He's dead. Right before it goes back to this cycle begin over here with the one alligator. What happens when an alligator hits? The solar flare comes down, which is for movement. It hits humanity, which is us. Plop! And what does it do? It blows our head over here. It blows our hand over there. It blows our foot with a bone sticking out over here. And it blows our staff with our hand over there. In other words, this solar storm that comes down is no different than the chart that I did earlier in the presentation about Chaco. When the solar flare comes down and splat. And that happens. Now you got to look. This is a 260-day sacred calendar solar cycle. This one is from the Zia symbol. This is based on 16. This is based on 13. And that's why I know there are two separate solar cycles that exist going through time until they come together. That's the end presentation.
Well, I also actually, Raj, can I promote what we're going to put up, or what you're going to put up onto Patreon too?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So what this is, it's a learning tool. Hi, bushy hair. And this here is a learning tool, and it has just for people to be able to understand what's going on. On this side is a glyph from the Codex Vaticanus, and this glyph basically is all the cycles of a 1,144 year cycle that comes out of the 260-day calendar year count calendar. And so you can extrapolate all of this from the 260-day calendar. This particular, while we're looking at here, has 13 heaven cycles. Right here are 9 52-year cycles of the underworld. That's what we see here. 13 heaven cycles, 9 52-year cycles of the underworld. So that's 1,144 years. So leap years, this is a list of leap years. So this start date here is November 13, when the Pleiades is directly overhead at midnight as an annular star. That's a star calendar. This is the marker. November 13, 1986. And then on these years, these are leap years. So it'll go from November 13, and then on that leap year, it'll go to November 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, and so on. And so now we're actually in the year one rabbit. So this is the same thing again, but this is page 2, and what is shown here are 9 cycles of the underworld. H, E, double hockey sticks, right? Indigenous Dark Ages. And so that is this. So there's 9 52-year cycles, and this started when Cortez arrived. Okay, so cruising in. We just left this cycle, and now we're here in the year one rabbit. So this has directions. You can locate the year of the historical event, and then you can identify the indigenous year that it correlates to. So when you go through the calendars, you basically start here, you go down, that's 13 years, 13 years, 13 years, 13 years, then you start again. And so it's a total of 52 years divided into 4 quarters, 13 years each. 52 years, so there's 13 heaven cycles, 9 hell cycles. This is the hell cycle. I have it in black. And we're now in the year one rabbit, which is 2025. So we just completed this whole cycle here, which is right there. So, yeah, there's a little thing here. You just have to remember that early November, late October is the Indigenous New Year, when the Pleiades is directly overhead at midnight. Thus, dates prior to November may actually be in the previous sacred calendar year. So, one rabbit says 2025, but that was November 3rd, 2025. So, anything before that was actually the year 13 house, and we're in May of 2026. So we haven't hit November yet, so we're still in the year one rabbit. And then in a couple years, it'll drop down to November 2 as the Indigenous New Year, and then November 1st, and then October 31st. And then at the end of the cycle, yeah, there's 13 unnamed leap days. So if you add 13 unnamed leap days, then you have, or you just add 13 days to October 31st, you come up with November 13. And that is the one read year. Okay, so leap days are accounted for. And that's it. So Roger's going to put this on Patreon. Okay.
Hey, that's actually made on the parchment from Aztec codexes. That paper?
Yeah.
The parchment paper is from Mexico.
The original, yeah.
That they make codexes really from.
And what we're looking here too is actually a copy of a copy. Because I have a copy, I scanned it in and I took pictures of it this morning, so I made this. All right, well, everyone, thanks for tuning in for a quick update. There'll be more to come.